It's Thursday, June 25. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Carol Francis. 3 additional patients have recovered from the coronavirus COVID-19 and have been released from care on Wednesday, bringing the total number of recoveries to 521. In the meantime, Jamaica recorded 8 new COVID-19 cases, which brings the total number of confirmed cases in Jamaica to 678. The new cases consist of 7 males and 1 female, ages ranging from 10 to 51 years. 3 cases are imported, with 2 arriving on flights from the United States of America and 1 from Canada. The 5 remaining are import-related from cases arriving from the United States. There are now 147 active cases under observation, with no critically or moderately ill patients. Jamaica has been losing about $400 million per day as a result of the impact of COVID-19 on the tourism sector. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett shared the information during a sitting of the House of Representatives on Wednesday afternoon.
The estimated loss of direct tourism revenue to the government due to COVID-19 from April 2020 to March 2021 is expected to be 38.4 billion Jamaican dollars. The estimated overall loss to the economy from visitor expenditure from stopover arrivals is at 107.6 billion. In short, Mr. Speaker, the nation is losing roughly $400 million per day as a result of COVID-19 and the shutdown of the tourism industry.
He said the estimated overall loss to the economy from visitor expenditure from stopover arrivals is $107.6 billion.
You can see, therefore, that the phased reopening of our borders to international travelers on June 15 is not just about tourism, but it's a matter of life and death. We need to get the over 350,000 pandemic displaced workers back to work. We need to provide some salvation to the many businesses and workers that right now are facing rough times.
The government has reopened the tourism sector with protocols confining visitors to resort areas of the North Coast. Tourists are also required to remain at their hotels. Mr. Bartlett says the number of tourists who have landed on Jamaican soil since the sector reopened gives hope for a successful rebound.
We are increasing the number of flights coming into Jamaica. The preliminary data from the Jamaica Tourist Board shows that the opening of the borders on June 15 to Monday, June 22, in relation to 3,143 visitors who have entered Jamaica. A small start, but it's a start, and it has offered hope to workers that we have begun a process that will see their livelihood coming back to the fore.
Results for the primary exit profile PEP exams will be published electronically on Friday. The move is part of the Ministry of Education's efforts to prevent parents visiting schools amid COVID-19 concerns. A parental portal has been created on the ministry's online platform for PEP. Chief Education Officer Dr. Kassan Troop said the results will first be available to schools at 2 in the afternoon. Parents will get access to the portal at 4 in the afternoon. Parents have been given a login credential, which will allow them to access the platform. Dr. Troop says parents should not necessarily feel pressured to access the portal on Friday because there is no time period set for the data to expire. The Forestry Department has carried out its first pilot carbon assessment in the Bogue 2 Forest Reserve in St. Anne. This was disclosed by a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, during his contribution to the 2020-2021 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. We have more in this report.
REDD+ refers to reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation in developing countries. The program looks at conservation and sustainable management of forests in a bid to reduce carbon emissions. Minister Darrell Vaz says the Forestry Department has also identified $240 Jamaican to support alternate livelihood activities for local communities.
During the fiscal year, 27 proposals identified and valued at over $133 million were awarded. The remaining amounts and projects will be identified and awarded in 2021. 109 hectares of denuded lands were reforested across the island, surpassing a target of 100 acres.
Additionally, Minister Vaz noted that for the financial year, a total of 671 employment opportunities were provided for 667 casual workers from rural areas or communities close to forests.
The 667 casual workers from rural areas, communities close to the forest in the areas of plantation, maintenance, reforestation, inventory, and volume assessment. This represents an 18% increase over the 569 casual employment opportunities for the last financial year.
Minister Vaz told the House that it's anticipated for the current fiscal year, the Forestry Department, among other things, will be embarking on the reforestation and maintenance of 150 hectares of forests.
Forestry Department will continue to provide support to the tree planting program to meet the targeted 3 million trees over 3 years. Under this initiative, the agency will be coordinating the provisions of seedlings to meet the needs of the Government of Jamaica-led planting program, as well as general distribution to the public. There will also be some training for Hope interns over the period. This year signals the 25th anniversary of Jamaica's full commitment to advance climate action after ratifying the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in January 1995.
The Forestry Department will also assess the 2,500 hectares of mangrove forests to complete the bill to amend the Forest Act 1996. Simone Absalom reporting for the news on PBCJ.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, wants to change the way inmates with mental health issues are incarcerated. Her comments follows the release of George Williams, a mentally ill man who was arrested and charged with the murder of a man in July 1970. He reportedly spent 50 years in prison without a trial. The prosecution has reportedly indicated it will be discontinuing criminal proceedings against him on the basis that he is not fit to plead. Mr. Williams is one of 7 mentally ill men identified in an independent Commission of Investigations report who have each spent at least 40 years in prison awaiting trial. The DPP has reportedly recommended that action be taken to either retrofit an existing entity under the Department of Corrections or some other secure facility that can oversee 2 or 3 levels of care to ensure or guarantee reintegration into the community. The Sahara dust is still impacting the island's air quality. Today, we hear from residents over in Yallahs, St. Thomas on how they are being affected by the dust plume.
Living right in the square, Yallahs, and I came out yesterday even to find this amount of dust blowing. And then I noticed it was burning my eyes, scratching my skin. And I look around and notice this morning, the sun is shining brightly, and then I noticed that something is in the air. So I was saying, oh, what it is, and then I realized, and we were talking, somebody told me that this dust is coming from all over.
Basically, the dust that is going around affect the people in Jamaica. Basically, this is telling us that we should wear a mask, proper hygiene, sanitize regularly, and wash our hands with water and soap. So basically, in this time, we look for anything. In leap year, we look for anything. So we have to prepare ourselves. I saw the dust blowing, and it affects the resident very bad, and it is giving us cough, running nose, etc.
The arrival of the Saharan dust layer is not unusual and happens every year between May and October, according to the Met Service. The plumes are usually short-lived, lasting no more than a week. However, due to the thickness of the current plume observed on the satellite imagery, Meteorologists are expecting greater concentrations in the dust levels. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has launched a national campaign aimed at encouraging more expectant mothers to access health care in order to improve health outcomes for both mother and baby. The initiative, dubbed Healthy Baby, Healthy You, Healthy Body is a Must, Clinic is a Must, is being undertaken through the European Union-funded program for the reduction of maternal and child mortality. It is being executed by the National Family Planning Board. Time now for the latest gas prices and other market news from Gabriel Thompson in today's Business Report.
Jamaica is experiencing its lowest poverty rate in over a decade. The rate declined by 40% to 12.6% in 2018. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement in Parliament on Tuesday.
Mr. Speaker, in 2018, the poverty rate was 12.6%, a decline of 6.7 percentage points relative to 2017. This is the lowest poverty rate in 10 years and represents a 40% fall in the rate of poverty in 2018 as compared to 2015. Mr. Speaker, this is the lowest rate since 2000 of poverty since 2008. This decline may be attributed to an increase in real GDP, an increase in employment, an increase in the proportion of households in the lower quintiles that receive remittances, as well as a slowing in the rate of inflation.
The finance minister outlined factors leading to the decline.
In 2018, the Jamaican economy recorded a GDP growth rate of 1.9%, the sixth consecutive year of growth and the highest annual growth rate in 12 years. The outturn for 2018 also marked the first time that Jamaica's GDP levels surpassed the levels recorded prior to the global financial crisis. The mining and quarry industry grew by 33.8% relative to 2017 and that growth in 2018 of the mining sector represented the strongest growth rate of the mining sector since 1989.
Opposition spokesman on business Mark Golding acknowledged the reduction in the poverty rate, but contended that Jamaicans are more concerned about the current economic state, which he described as dismal.
Those results are not what matter to the Jamaican people now. What matters to the Jamaican people now is what is happening now. And we have already said that the response of the government to the economic contraction is inadequate in order to provide an effective safety net to the people. And as the distress of the economic calamity that we're in soaks in to the population, day after day, the cries are going to get louder. And what we need to hear is what is to be done to get the country out of this mess and how the Jamaican people can have their hope restored and the economy can begin to recover.
The prevalence of poverty is calculated annually by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Pbcj, using the survey data on consumption expenditure. The Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions reflects the living standards of Jamaican households. It is a joint publication by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, that collects the data annually, and the Pbcj that conducts the analysis. According to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam, motorists should see an increase at the pumps in the prices of gasoline and diesel effective Thursday, June 25. 87 and 90 octane gasoline will be sold for $112.89 and $115.72 per liter, respectively, up by $1.03 each. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $110.67 per liter, following an increase of 25 cents, while ultra-low sulfur is also up by 25 cents and will be sold for $114.59 per liter. Meanwhile, kerosene increased in price by 25 cents and will be sold for $90.32 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $48.83 per litre, up by 25 cents, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $48.75 per litre after a decrease of $2.11. Marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markup to these prices. In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 3,861 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 81 stocks, of which 42 advanced, 29 declined, and 10 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 52 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica, 1834 Investments Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services, Blue Power Group, and Caribbean Flavor and Fragrances Limited. Trading firm were Siboney Group Limited, Consolidated Bakers Jamaica, and Derrimon Trading Preference Shares. Pulse Investments Limited was the volume leader with over 347 million units, followed by Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 6.3 million units and General Accident Insurance Company Limited with 2.3 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Wednesday, June 24, ended trading at $140.15. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $106.25. The pound sterling traded for $179.37, and the euro ended trading at $161.21. Oil slips below $40 a barrel on Thursday after a more than 5% fall the previous session, as record-high U.S. crude inventories and a resurgence in coronavirus cases cast doubt on a recovery in fuel demand. Brent crude futures fell 54 cents to $39.77 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures declined by 56 cents to settle at $37.45 a barrel. And that's it for the business report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
This week on Culinary Trails, Simone Absalom trekked to Living Food and Juices in Kingston, where she enjoyed a plant-based meal and beverage.
There is no time like the present to make positive changes in your life. The first thing you should do is to start eating healthy, and the first place to stop is Living Food and Juices. It's in Halfway Tree, right inside of Lane Plaza. Living Food and Juices specializes in vegan food and plant-based cuisine, both raw and cooked, with full course meals. They offer delicious cold-pressed juices, smoothies, nut-based milks, appetizers, entrees, salads, cakes, pies, and so much more. Peanut porridge, hominy corn porridge, soup, curried up jackfruit, curried cowpeas, vegetable rundown are just some of the options on the menu. You can check them out on Instagram and order via phone or online at 7 Crave or Quick Plates. Time to try out some black bean stew with mashed sweet potato and tossed salad. To the Jack and Chick, made of jackfruit with quinoa and tossed salad. Living Food and Juices restaurant supports a plant-based diet. It emphasizes whole, minimal processed foods, limits or avoids animal products. It focuses on plants including vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts. A plant-based diet boosts your immune system, reduces inflammation, maintains a healthy weight, increases fiber intake, and lowers your cancer risk. What's in a mango madness? Mango, banana, fruit juice, and ice. Super smoothie is mixed smooth with kale, pumpkin, pineapple, mangoes, and spirulina. That is so good. That sweet eureka moment when you're drinking something that's so yummy. And to top it all off, it's super healthy. Thanks to Living Food and Juices for their accommodating and super sweet customer service. I totally enjoyed myself. Until next time, you've been watching Culinary Trails on PBCJ.
In regional news, the COVID-19 task force in Guyana has approved 2 more repatriation flights. Shaquille Bourne of InfoHub has that report.
On July 1, an Eastern Airlines flight will depart Miami for CJIA at 8:30 hours, and on July 2, a Northern Eastern Airlines flight will depart New York for CJIA at 8:30 hours as well. In a written statement, the NCTF confirmed there are ongoing consultations with airlines for the provision of additional flights. All citizens are mandated to stand the airfare costs and other expenses that may arise. The NCTF is adamant that those persons complete PCR COVID-19 testing and test negative for consideration to be given to re-enter Guyana. Completion and submission of the repatriation form on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website is also a requirement. Citizens are subjected to a 7-day home quarantine upon their return, in addition to the guidelines set out by the NCTF, ministries, and agencies. All persons on home quarantine will be monitored by officials from the Ministry of Public Health. On July 6, the first flight with stranded Guyanese in the USA landed at CJIA. Since then, 3 flights have returned from various parts of the region. Guyana's borders with Brazil and Suriname remain closed, blocking the movement of people until further notice. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Over in St. Lucia, the staff of St. Jude's Hospital walked off the job on Tuesday morning in protest over the presence of the human resource manager. Employees had long complained about the HR director's mode of operation, which was allegedly at the center of an industrial dispute, which was reportedly resolved in early June. The workers claim his presence at the hospital prompted the walkout in protest. We get the details in this HTS News Force report.
The confirmation on Tuesday that the embattled human resource manager Andrew Pilty was back on the job at St. Jude Hospital prompted the staff to take immediate protest action. They walked off the job and demanded that he left the compound of the hospital. The workers' shop steward says the understanding between the National Workers' Union and all the various parties involved in the negotiations was that Mr. Pilty would be sent on administrative leave.
Our HR manager is expected to be on administrative leave. Suddenly we saw him on compound, and because of that the staffs are protesting his presence on compound. So that is why we are outside. So we are instructed by our union to stay outside until when they come from Castries to instruct us on what to do next.
The National Workers Union's organizer in the South, Leonard Prescott, says Pilty's return was a breach of the agreement reached between the negotiating parties.
Mr. Pilty came back on the compound telling the staff that he's back at work, which they have not received any word from management that Mr. Pilty is coming back in this hospital. He went inside there and he sat in his office telling everybody he's back at work, which is not right. So when the workers realized that is in effect, they went about alarming other workers and they said that is not correct, that they're going to stand out and make sure that Mr. get out of here.
The walkout by the workers was not without consequences. This lady, Bertha Charlery, who came to the hospital for service, was concerned about the welfare of the patients.
I don't know, like the way that people behave this morning. I mean, they should tell us they're stepping out. Something's going on, we're stepping out. So those that want to go, they will go. Those that want to stay, they will stay. And they have to respect that country. That's our country. And remember, the sick people always need help. At a time of like that, we are in a crisis. We are in crisis. Why is now they starting that altering and people suffering? Who is taking care of the sick?
Prescott says the protesting workers were awaiting instructions from the trade union to decide on the way forward.
We are standing outside with the staff to see that he is out. Mr. Donnelly drove him out of the compound and took him out. I don't know where he went about for this moment. But we are staying here waiting for the executive from Castries to see how best we can sit with workers and put a reasoning, and then we go to management to confirm everything that we should go back to work.
The representatives from the head office of the National Workers Union met with the employees and confirmed that Mr. Pilty's return was a breach of the agreement between them, the Ministry of Labour, and the management of the St. Jude Hospital. The employees were asked to return to work by the National Workers Union, which warns that any repetition of this conduct may be met with sterner action. Stanley Lucian for the HGS News Force.
In sports, we hit the green with golf. President of the Jamaica Golf Association, JGA, Peter Chin, says plans for the Jamaica Open are still uncertain due to the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Chin says the JGA has been given the all clear by the Ministry of Health to resume competitions locally. However, with the pandemic significantly affecting businesses, Mr. Chin says no decision has been made about this year's staging of the event at the Trial Golf Course in Hanover. The first tournament after the resumption is slated to be held on July 11 at the Constant Spring Golf Club. And we head over to cricket as West Indies head coach Phil Simmonds says he was the victim of racist abuse while playing league cricket in England during the 1980s and 1990s. He also confirmed that the squad will register their solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement when the Test series against England begins on July 8. We get more in this report from Newsroom Guyana.
In solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Have you got any plans, formed any plans with England to show any similar signs of unity when the Test series begins?
Yes, we definitely have plans to show our unity and our backing for it. The chats with our English counterparts are ongoing. It's going to happen over the next, suppose by the end of this week, we'll have had a chat with them and see what we can do together. But we definitely are thinking about things that we can do to show our solidarity for the movement.
And as someone that's obviously played domestic cricket here in England and also right around the world, what's been your experiences of racism? Have you encountered much?
I haven't, not really at county level. I encountered quite a bit up in the leagues, and at county cricket I haven't really encountered that much. So, but I have encountered in the leagues, and I know it's not a nice thing to face, especially in the leagues where you by yourself sometimes, and it affected my wife when I was up there. So it's not a nice thing.
Was it the Lancashire leagues that you were referring to earlier? You played in the early 90s.
I played in about 3 or 4 different leagues. Northwest. I played in Northwest, in Lancashire, Central Lancs, few different leagues.
Okay, and you mentioned that occurred in a few leagues, or was that a particular season?
It was one particular league up in the Northeast.
And that's our package. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, for more news and sports right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.